Hello, it's Stuart, the unrepentant atheist, again with another clip from the Atheist Experience, and it's 2016, and we've got Zane calling in. He's a Christian who spent 20 minutes talking about skepticism, and Matt explaining, what his standards of evidence were and everything, and it came towards the end of the conversation, and fortunately Matt was on the ball. And he asked, why is it that you believe? And it came down to personal experience. So we're going to pick it up because this is where it sort of gets interesting.
For anybody else, and that changes the way you interact. And I can appreciate that. The big question, though, is what personal experience have you had that you think is sufficient?
I think that would be a question that would be getting us off topic, because I think it would be pointless for me to divulge that story to you. And then if you...
Christians always say, oh, it's going off topic, when they sense that they're in danger, when they sense that the whole worldview, justified by, at the end of the day, a flimsy sort of subjective piece of evidence, is going to be turned upside down.
Well, it may not be convincing to us, but we're kind of wondering why it's convincing to you. So it's a different. We're sort of changing the question a bit here.
Because, for example, whatever story you tell me, it's certainly not going to convince me because I didn't have the experience. But I am able to put myself in your shoes and say, if I had this same experience, would I then believe? And that gets us to to the point, which is one of us too skeptical or one of us too gullible?
It really baffles me, this thing about personal experience, because every time when we hear what the actual personal experience is, it's usually fairly mundane. And I mean, look, I'm sitting here, I'm an atheist, and for me, if suddenly, I don't know, a figure appeared and came up behind me and said, and I was like, oh my God, who's that? And, and he said, I'm Jesus Christ, I can make miracles happen. God does exist, and he performed some miracle right here in front of me. And I'm not saying that would absolutely make me believe, but it would be so shocking, and it would be better than anything that I've ever seen from any Christian when they tell me they've had a personal experience. So let's hear what this personal experience is, and whether he'll divulge it.
Okay, I see your point now. Basically, I don't know, since I formed good memory, I've been noticing I've been having dreams in which later on, while I'm awake, those dreams are reenacted. And I knew since 10 years old that I just can't say, oh, hey, I know what's about to happen, that people will be skeptical. So it took me being an adult, and I went ahead and I relayed what was going to happen in the dream to one of my coworkers, and I went ahead and relayed the scene 5 hours in advance, and that scene played out. So I'm kind of left in the position where either that coworker is a figment of my imagination, or this dream really did play out, to be specific. It was something that was, not privy to interpretation. It was exact. I said that we was going to have a problem at work today, and that problem would be solved right at this specific hour.
Did you specify the problem?
No, I specified the time that the problem would be fixed.
Okay.
I think that in a work environment, problems are not that unusual a thing. They're actually quite common, frequent. Solving them is not that unusual either. And saying that there's going to be a problem solved at 3 o'clock in the work environment, and lo and behold, that actually happens. I mean, first of all, you've got, you're setting up a scenario for that to happen. If you come in and announce, oh, I had a dream, and there's going to be a problem at 3, or there's going to be a problem, and we're going to solve it at 3 o'clock, increases the likelihood that somebody hearing that is actually going to say, hey, I've solved that problem.
So basically, all right, let me run down this and see if this is fair. You have dreams about the future.
Yes.
And they seem to be coming true.
Yes.
Okay. And one of those dreams, which you relayed to a coworker, is we're going to have a problem at work today and we're going to solve it at 3:45.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yes.
And then on that day you had a problem and it was solved about 3:45.
No, it was right on the dot, like right when we was able to go ahead and open up.
I had a better dream than that, and I'm not a theist. I took my family out for a drive on a Sunday, right? On the Saturday night, when I was in bed, I had a dream. I had a dream that we were in the car, we were on a country road, and we came to a dip in the road, and there was a big pool of water in the road. And I was afraid to go through it, and I didn't go through it. I woke up in the dream. I had that. To me, anybody would say, well, somebody who's superstitious or who believed in dreams would say it's a warning. Actually, I didn't take it as a warning. Now, what happened was we did go out for a drive that day, and we got onto a country road that in 15 minutes would take us to our destination. If we did not stay on that country road, getting to our destination would have taken us an extra hour. If I'd had to turn around and go another way, it would have been another hour. We'd already been 2 hours in the car. What happened was, believe it or not, it had been raining a lot. We were in a part of the country where there are a lot of rivers. And on this country road, we came to a dip, and at the bottom, believe it or not, there was a pool of water. I thought about that dream. I don't like driving through pools of water. I would usually try to avoid it. But looking at my wife and my son in that moment and seeing how tired and weary they were of the drive, I decided to chance it, and I drove through. I didn't like doing it. If I'd been on my own, to be honest with you, I would have turned around. I wouldn't have risked it because I don't like doing that. But I went straight through the water and everything was okay. So anyway, if that was a warning, if you say, well, that dream was a warning, obviously nothing happened. To me, it was just a coincidence. I just happened to have that dream. But I think that my dream is more impressive than what he's talking about. And yeah, I didn't take it as a sign from God. I just took it as a coincidental dream and an event in the real world that actually happened.
Okay, so let me just start with the easy part here. And that is, let's assume that everything that you just said is completely accurate.
Okay.
So what we have here is a case where you can dream about things that are going to happen in the future. And you're accurate. And I'll just say, for the sake of argument, you're 100% accurate. How does that prove? How does that prove or even imply a God in any way?
This is the point. People think or imagine that, if they could somehow prove some kind of premonition or something, if a premonition is true, if an atheist, who's an atheist, say for bad reasons, has a premonition, and it's just a coincidental thought about the future or something that couldn't normally be known, and it turns out to be true, they will suddenly jump straight into theism, and that is something that baffles me. It really does. And that's what Matt's getting at. This dream that he had, even if he can predict events from his dreams, how does he jump to a God, let alone a Christian God?
It actually doesn't.
Okay.
It's what made me go ahead and think that the world is not as mundane as I hear a lot of people say it is. Since these extraordinary things happen, the world can't be so mundane. Like, I'm having these dreams, and finally, after so many years, I got another person to verify it. And it's not something privy to interpretation. I got it right down to the minute.
Yeah, so because unexplained things happen, well, I suppose it must mean that if that can happen, it must mean that there's also a God.
Right, but I understand. But we had asked about why you believe that there's a God, and then you gave us a story, and then you acknowledged that that story doesn't in any way indicate a God or the likelihood of a God or anything along those lines. So that story is not really relevant to this. The second thing is, if you can actually do what you think you can do, then
I would call up James Ramsey.
Well, you can't actually call up James Randi anymore because he's retired, and the JREF is not actually doing the $1 million challenge.
Yeah, well, he's also dead now, so that would be quite a thing if you could call up James Randi. That would be interesting.
But I would think that if you could keep a dream diary, so every night when you have one of these dreams, write it down in as much specific detail as you can.
That's the thing. You get people coming on saying, oh, I can predict things from my dreams. This happened, that happened, this happened, and that happened. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is come onto the Atheist Experience, tell us your specific dream so we can record it all and say when this event is going to happen so we can check it. Don't come to us after it's all happened, when you can't really prove any of it. Give us a prediction before, not after.
And immediately seal it, put a stamp on it, and send it to somebody who, send it to me. And then when the event comes true, you know what's going to happen, so you should be able to record it or get a bunch of other people involved. And once we have a record of you've been sending me your predictions and they've come true, I can then take that to people who would be more than happy to test this to see if in fact you can do what you do.
It's a poor prediction. I think that if he had a dream that a seagull was going to fly through a window at precisely, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think that would be far more impressive, in fact.
Because I can tell you this, I could right now write down a prediction that is very specific, seal it in an envelope, mail it to you, and it would absolutely come true. And there's nothing supernatural about it. Now, I realize that what I'm talking about isn't the same as, I had a dream and it came true. But we have to, you have to look at this and you have to investigate it in the right way. So if you think you're having dreams that allow you to predict the future, then why haven't you submitted that for testing? Why wouldn't that be something wonderful and useful to the world?
Because I think ultimately it's like how you're looking at X-Men and you look at the mutant powers. I think that would be kind of like a lame power.
A lame power.
So
hang on. No.
No, this is brilliant. This is legendary, Matt, what he's about to say now. It's just he absolutely nailed it. There's nobody in the world that could have done a better job of what he's about to say in response to what the caller said about, because predictive dreams is just too mundane.
No, fucking no. First of all, you're claiming to have a power,
clairvoyance,
to predict the future, and your reason for not having it tested is that you think it might be a lame power? Given the current state of the universe in which we live, it would be the most impressive power that has ever been confirmed. That would be like, like one of the weaker superheroes, like, Aquaman, saying, I can breathe underwater, but I don't want it to get tested. I can talk to the animals, but I don't want to get tested because it would be a weak-ass superpower. We can agree with him that it's weak in comparison to everybody else that he runs with. But if there's somebody out there right now on Earth who can breathe water and talk to animals and they're not getting tested, holy crap, they're awesome. Aquaman is only awesome in the real world, not in the fictional world.
Matt, if you're telling me that you could do the same exact thing without any supernatural, but then you're also trying to laugh about me when I say it would be lame.
What Matt's saying is that
I'm a magician. I can make it appear that I can do what you claim that you're doing for real.
Okay, so if you could do it as well, how would it be so spectacular that I'm doing it?
Because I'm doing it by trickery, and you're claiming that you're getting dreams that predict the future.
And that's why we need more testing.
And that's why
I'm amazed that he hasn't got the intelligence to understand that when Matt said he can do the same thing, he means not that it's not real magic, it's the art of magic. And obviously there's a distinction, whereas the caller is claiming that he's got supernatural powers. He is so utterly dumb. It's it's hard to believe that he can't, that he made that comment, that he made that objection.
You test it to figure out which one of us is the bullshit con artist, the magician, and which one of us is actually Aquaman.
Now, he's been utterly humiliated. He spent 25 minutes rubbishing skepticism. And he didn't want to talk about his personal experience. This personal experience, which is so close to his heart, it's it's the one thing that really connects him with God. It's so deeply meaningful. It's like it's between him and Jesus. I mean, he would never in a million years really want to divulge it to anybody because it's so special. He's exposed his utter stupidity on, to the internet, to millions of people. And now he's got to live with that. I think that's hilarious.
But in any case, we went through all this, and your superpower, you acknowledge, doesn't in any way confirm a God. So I don't know how it was remotely an answer to the question.
Okay.
I mean, I would never actually, kill anybody, but as a figure of speech, I'd kill to have that crappy power that you think you have. That'd be awesome.
So do you think we're being too skeptical here about the God claim? I don't think we are. There doesn't seem to be any there.
I kind of do still think you're being too skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Don, why did you ask that question? So many times he asked the wrong question at the wrong time. That is not the way to close out this conversation.
I tell you what, we got a lot of callers waiting, and I didn't even give Don much time to talk. So
that's fine. We can move on, though.
The address for the Atheist Community of Austin is at the bottom of the webpage. It's 1507 West Koenig Lane, Austin, Texas, and the zip code's down there as well. You can just mail me your dreams, and
I think it's amazing how at the same time, if I say it's lame and that you could do it as well, that's laughable.
No,
they've already been through this. He's already explained the distinction between fake magic and real magic.
What I'm saying is that I could mimic the type of thing that you're claiming that you're doing. I can't do it. I can't have a dream that actually predicts the future. Or at least it's never happened. But I could stand on stage with a prediction of something that's going to happen later in the show and tell people that it was a dream. And if they didn't know, I'm talking about
stagecraft.
Yeah, the outside observer looking at the two of us, we both walk up and say we had a dream and make a prediction, and they both come true.
And to the outside observer, they look exactly the same.
We need to have a way to tell the difference between what I can do and what you can do, and that's why it's imperative to, get yourself tested.
It's crazy that he thinks that predictive dreams, which are truly predictive, is a lame power. As Matt said, it's an absolutely awesome thing.
I feel like you just forced a joke upon me, forced me into making me a joke because you hold one way how it is amazing and it's not amazing at the same time.
No, I'm not claiming, I'm not making you a joke. I don't.
Well, he is a joke anyway.
Believe that what you're stating is accurate, but I'm willing to believe if you actually provide evidence for it. People ask me, "Hey, what would convince you that a God exists?" I don't know, but Zane, I don't know what would convince me a God exists, but I know exactly what would convince me that you have this power you claim, and that is for you to consistently produce. Here's what's going to happen. That is out of your control. This event's going to happen somewhere, and then it happens. For you to consistently do that, you would convince me. It's easy.
Yeah, there's a process there that's pretty straightforward.
If I kept getting a phone call every morning from somebody saying, "Hey, I had a dream about you last night, and in 2 hours, you're going to get the wrong change at the drive-through window, and they're going to give you 15 cents too much," and 2 hours later, I'm at the drive-through window and it's 15 cents too much. That's kind of impressive.
Or how about predicting earthquakes or something useful?
Well, predicting earthquakes, by the way, came up last weekend when I was in Tennessee. Because I'm going to go and let you go, Zane.
Okay, so that's about it, really. So I believe that he was completely humiliated, and he felt it as well. That's why he said, "Oh, you've sort of made a joke out of me." Well, he said that his reason for believing in God was that he has these predictive dreams, and he didn't really demonstrate. He didn't really demonstrate to me, even if this thing did happen, that he has particularly predictive dreams at all. It's just because problems being solved in the office are just too mundane. Whereas what Matt, the example he gave him there, that if you went to McDonald's and they gave him, I don't know, exactly 15 cents too much change, and this was predicted in the morning, that would be impressive because it's so specific, exactly 15 cents change, and that he went to McDonald's and everything. I mean, the only thing about that is that if somebody phoned him and said, you can get 15 cents change at McDonald's or Burger King or wherever, and he specifically decided to go to Burger King at that time and check that out, that's kind of sort of fulfilled half of it. Of course, the 15 cents change would still be on its own quite impressive, I must admit. It would be interesting anyway, but it's in no way evidence of any God. So I think that he was completely, I think his belief in God was completely debunked, and all the people out there who've had so-called personal experiences, this is why I don't trust personal experiences. People say, at the end of the day, they go through all the different arguments for God, and you debunk the whole lot of them. They say, oh yeah, okay, I have personal experience. Well, what's your personal experience? Well, I was in bed one night and I had this really sort of fuzzy feeling, and I just felt so much love, and I just know there's a God. And no, sorry, that's not good enough. I've had those feelings as well, but I didn't interpret them as a God. You get the point. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back again with another video soon. Bye for now.